Hello, thank you for joining me with a 1-hour exercise with the Mighty Body Band. My name is Miguel Latronica, and we are going to have a great time working with the Mighty Body Band, working with the core, building up some strength and some flexibility. So, let's get started. So here, you'll see that the Mighty Body Band is actually hooked up to the door. So I have my anchor point just like this. This is a portable anchor point, comes up from around the door, hook it into place, and then I pull the door closed. So everybody should be on the same page with me. And first thing I'm going to do is just take my Mighty Body Band. I'm going to lengthen it about halfway. Then I'm going to come on in, and we're all going to pull on it one time and make sure that it doesn't stretch like a rubber band. So it's in static mode. I'm going to go ahead and take the PNF, the Mighty Body Band loop, and bring it into my hip, a little bit beneath the crease. And the first thing we'll do today is we'll come into a nice down dog. And what I'll do first, I'll come up on my toes. All of us will come up on our toes, up and down. Up and down. It's almost as if like you wanted to take off and do a landing, right? A nice jump. So this way, I know I've got some really nice integrity into the lower limbs of the body. I'll come into a nice down dog here. And you can see my feet are on the floor. Your feet, all four corners, all three corners, should be grounded. You should be getting extension out through the head. Now, because the Mighty Body Band will hold you into place. It's an anti-gravitational device, allowing me to bring my hands up to my low back. I want to really keep my legs engaged, and you'll do the same. Legs are nice and engaged, press the outside edges of the feet down, and you'll notice most of the time we have a collapsed sternum in front of the chest. Here we want to actually keep it up nice and easy and broaden across the back of the shoulders and then out through the neck, and breathe. Take a nice deep inhalation. And exhale. So everything should be full of awareness in the body. Your breath is full of awareness, and we'll take the hands to the hips. We'll bend the knees gently, and then we'll inhale. We'll come on up nice and easy, pausing just for a moment once our body is angled and nice and straight. I like to call this pose angled Utkatasana. So I come on in, I grab the back of my loop from the Mighty Body Band, and I pull myself up. The next thing I'd like to do is just turn around one time. And we say when we're using the Mighty Body Band loop, there's 3 different positions: the lower pocket, mid pocket, and the upper pocket. And when we use this, for example, we'll come into Utkatasana next, and we'll come down, and it's pretty much placed in the middle of the pocket where the loop will neither come up nor down from its starting position. And then I come up, and the same thing. I'm going to take my hands on my knees, making sure I have a very stable angle. And my feet are planted on the floor nice and easy. I can really relax into my hip socket. My knees feel nice and safe. I can take my arms up, broaden. So from that last down dog, I'm nice and open, full of awareness. I exhale down, inhale up. And I can work as slowly or as rapidly as I'd like, timing it with the breath, keeping the eyes, everything soft, throat, sides of the temples. Your face is soft and open, sweet like fresh water. A couple of times up and down, and then slowly we'll come on up nice and easy. I'll take my hands back, lean slightly over to the right, and retract my left foot back. And then what I'm going to do is I'll walk forward, lower the band, and I'm going to tighten it up nice and easy. I'm going to take the whole unit of the Mighty Body Band. We'll all do that, and we'll turn it around and rotate it And then you'll notice here I have my handles. So I've got the two handles, and as we know from reading the manual or viewing other videos, that these handles can be used dynamically or statically. Okay, dynamically meaning it stretches like a rubber band, and statically meaning it's nice and taut. So right now I know the band is set on the dynamic component, and I put my kick foot forward, and you'll do the same, and you'll exhale and you'll pull. So anytime you're working with the Mighty Body Band and what we call the PNF loops and ropes, you'll exhale as you pull. Very important. So, for example, now that I know it's in position, everything's anchored, you'll notice that the crown of my head, the front of my nose, the tip of my nose, my navel, and the tip of my coccyx from behind, everything is on the same plane. I'd like my plane to be lined up to the anchor point. And this is the anchor point right here. So when I come back for the next pose, I get my body into position. I pull my shoulder blades back. I create just the right amount of resistance. You'll see I'll walk back, and that creates more resistance into the PNF handles. And I know this is just about right for me. So what I'll do is I'll just come down for a moment. I'll pause. Now you'll notice my elbows are bent. My shoulder blades are broadened from behind, and I'm really open in front of the heart. Take a nice deep inhalation, and as I exhale, my head hangs. My hips are suspended up into space. I can move back and forth here and just kind of play in space, have fun. Try not to work too hard, and make sure you activate just the right parts of the musculature to make the pose active and vibrant. And so from here, I feel really good. Into the knees, into the ankles, I'm going to come on up, and then what I want to do is a few hip circles. So I come up, exhaling. As I pull, the band helps to pull me up. And again, we come down. I create resistance. It pulls me back up. Time it with the breath. Be nice and soft. My toes are soft and not gripping. My sacrum and my hips feel nice and open, buoyant. Shoulder blades pulling back. Breathe into it. Easy. 3 more times. And slowly come on up. So I can really feel that in the legs. It really activates all the motor neurons of the legs. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to let go of my handles. I'm going to close my eyes nice and easy. And I'm just going to feel the after effects of the pose. Very nice. So the next pose is really nice. It's to open up the front of the shoulders. So the body, we have large muscles, small muscles. We have hip rotators, which are called synergistic muscles. And what I'd like to do here, because the shoulder cuffs are so vulnerable, more vulnerable than any other parts of the body for unnecessary tearing into the shoulder cuffs. So what I want to do is I'm going to come back and grab my 2 handles. And again, I know they're both set on the PNF setting, meaning the bungee cord where they're dynamic. I'm going to take the unit, and you'll do the same. You'll come on into it, and all you'll do is you'll take your hands. My palms face each other, and again, my nose and my navel, everything is lined up with my anchor point. I use my mat because it's centered from the anchor point, and I get myself positioned so I come slightly forward. And you'll see here, all I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is just a few times, I work with resistance, right? I exhale back. Right, few times. Breathing in, closing the eyes, opening up the heart. And that's good. I'm going to walk back a little bit further. I'm going to take my arms up nice and straight. Now, this pose, when we do this in class, it's a very fun pose, but very often people will bounce into it. And that's not what we're trying to achieve in this particular pose. What we want to do is act as if the ropes were on static. We exhale down and we inhale up. Exhale down, inhale up. Easy. Back up. So I'm starting to feel and build up some heat into the shoulders. Beautiful. Then I'm going to reposition myself and my elbows. My inner elbows point in towards each other, and I reposition my feet. I inhale, and again, I take it a little bit further. I exhale, and I inhale, I pull myself up. As I drop into this pose, I'll start to feel it in my calf muscles and in the Achilles heel. My wrists are in a nice safe place. I exhale down, and we inhale up. Breathing, having fun, stay supple, soft, into it. Beautiful. I'm going to come on up nice and easy, back down, and then what I want to do is come into what I call the sitting pigeon. It's a great pose, it's a lot of fun, and it's a great way to access the hip rotators, piriformis, muscles like that are buried deep into the hips. So in this particular pose, I want to move to the side just so that you can get a really good angle, and then I'll come back on my mat and show it. So I move to the side, and again, even though I'm off my mat, my navel and my tip of my nose is lined up with my anchor point. Here I'm going to move my left foot in, and I'm going to lift my right leg up like this, and I feel balanced. And then I just go ahead and I position my right heel and ankle on the outside of the left leg, and I come down. And all I want to do first is drop down and make sure I feel really stable throughout the joints, particularly the ankle and the knee. And this feels really nice for me. So what I want to do here is I want to exhale. And I start to make circles, exhaling down. The band helps to pull me back up. Very often people fall to the right and to the left, and that's a great thing when that happens, because the Mighty Body Band actually learns, it retrains your nervous system so that where agility and coordination are concerned, you work more efficiently and effectively. So that's it, right? And beautiful. Nice side angle. And now I'll come on my mat and I'll do the other side. So I'm going to come back on. Now that we know how to position ourselves, I walk myself backward or forwards to get just the right tensioning. Yeah? And then I'm going to walk my left foot slightly into the right, switching out to the other side. Bring my left leg up, cross it up and over. And I like to say, if you look at my sit bones in this pose, if you look at them, it's like two people sitting in a Ferris wheel. And the Ferris wheel is going around and around, and the two people are sitting in their seat in the Ferris wheel, and that's the pose. It's much easier to say, much more challenging to walk into it. And it's fun. It's engaging. Breathe into it. Become the movement. Close the eyes if you'd like. Maintain the stability. Every time I dip down and come back up, I feel all these different parts of the muscle being activated. And that's it. And then I come up. Nice and easy. And I shake my legs out. Next thing I want to do, I'm just going to come back one more time. I'm going to reposition my left foot. I'm going to lift my right leg up like this. I'm going to maintain my sense of balance. And you'll do the same. You'll keep your toes soft. You'll inhale and then exhale. Inhale, exhale. You see? So every time you bring your knee up, exhale, back down. Keep that leg in front in nice alignment so that left knee neither goes to the right nor to the left. And then I take it forward and up. I just, for a moment, pause, listen to my body. And then I do the same thing on the opposite side. I'll walk my right foot in, take a nice deep inhalation, and then I begin. Inhale up. Inhale up. You can hear the propulsive exhalation every time I come back. Right, one more time coming up, and fully into position, and take yourself slightly forward. Go ahead and allow your handles to come into the resting position. Close your eyes and feel. Very nice. And the next pose we're going to do is called balancing table pose. So, I'm going to take my unit, pivot it from the revolving snap hook, and what I'd like to do is lift my tab so I can extend my mighty body band with the toe band out to the yellow line. And the same thing, I'll take the loop of the mighty body band up over the body. Now, you'll notice I'm still in a static position. Does not stretch like a rubber band. I'll come down to my knees, and what I'll do is I'll walk forward. Now, you can see as I walk forward, I am static into the pose. So what I'd like to do here is you'll take your left leg back, just like this. You'll come up on the toes, and you'll square your hips. And then when you're ready, you'll notice that my left toes are up on the floor, and they're flexed. Then I take my right arm up, and I take a nice deep inhalation, and as I exhale, I lift that left leg up. So this really helps to balance me into the pose. It creates a little bit of resistance with the mighty body band, enough so that I can really feel the muscles working in the hip region. Breathe into it. Pull that right shoulder blade back. Stretch the toes out from back. Breathe in nice and easy. Inhale, and exhale, release. One more time, up. And then if you want here, as you reach into it, you'll take your arm back and the knee forward. Inhaling up. Exhale, back. Very nice toning qualities into this pose. One more time. And then back into neutral. So we'll just come knees forward, relax into child's pose before we do the other side. It's important to keep the nervous system soft. I grab the heels, lift myself slightly up, and reposition. And here we go. Opposite side. I'm going to take my right leg back, reposition my left. So I really feel stable here. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to, nice and easy, take that left arm up. And slowly, once I've engaged myself, I lift that right leg up, breathe into the pose, keep the eyes nice and soft. And then when you're ready, inhaling forward. Beautiful way to work the upper, mid, and lower chains of the body, and release. And one more time. I'll come into a nice, soft, supported child's pose. Head hangs. You can see when you work yourself forward, it's like having your own personal yoga assistant, giving you a nice lengthening, working the hips back, right? But rather you work at your own terms and your own way to explore in the moment where you're at. Hands back to the hips, out in front, and lift up nice and easy. So here, I'm going to walk my hands out in front of me, lift myself up, and now I'm back into a nice down dog. So you can do the same thing. You can come a couple of times, like, a fulcrum. Different fulcrums, up and down, making sure you're in a really good, stable position. Heels come down. And what we're going to do here is a nice twisted down dog. In this pose here, you'll see I'm crossing my arms as an X. So you'll do the same. You'll cross them, and the left arm will be closest to your feet. I'll take a nice deep inhalation. And then when I exhale, I'm going to slowly retract my hand back. My left hand comes to the outside of the right calf muscle. You can see that I'm up on the fingertips of that right hand. That's to prevent the sternum and the chest from collapsing. Take a nice deep inhalation. And as I exhale, I pull with my left hand. And you can see my whole torso working into a nice rotation. Such a delicious pose. Challenging and working with all the spiraling lines of the front and the back of the body. Take a nice deep inhalation. Legs are engaged. And then exhale, release. Take your arms up. Cross them over nice and easy. And again, when you're ready, notice the head hangs. Yet you're up on the fingertips so the sternum isn't collapsed. My toes are nice and soft. I feel really good, very stable. Breathe in. And then slowly, when you exhale, go ahead and take your right hand to the outside of the left leg. Take a nice deep breath, and you'll see the rotation coming up and around. Well done. Breathe into the pose. Stay soft. And inhale. Exhale, release. Pause for a moment. Hands to the hips. So I come on up nice and easy. Head comes up last. Again, grab the back of the loop of the Mighty Body Band and use an upper body strength to pull yourself back. All right, we're ready to do a switch out. So I'm going to turn around and you'll do the same. Let's connect our rainbow static strip from the PNF loop. Once we do that, we're going to lengthen our toe bands so the yellow and the red lines come together. What I'd like to do first is Virabhadrasana 2. So I like to take the hands to the hips before I do standing poses. It's a nice way to ground yourself. I step back and I take the right leg out, and you'll do the same. Then as I walk forward, I'm going to take my band, and it's in the back leg. And what I do is I just get my feet and my legs, everything into position so my joints are nice and supported and open. And I can feel the band pulling at that back leg and broaden across the back of the shoulders. And a little bit of resistance from the dynamic effect from the PNF loop allows me to take all the slack out of the muscles so I can engage parts of the muscles that normally wouldn't be working in this pose. And what's nice is the parts of the muscles that are so built up and strong, they become more flexible. Very nice. I come on out. I'm going to take my hand. You'll see I just grab, and you'll do the same thing with the back, and you'll pull yourself out. I take my leg out. You'll do the same. Go ahead and put it back through the head, and then we'll do the opposite side. I'm going to back up, take the right leg out. On this side, I'd like a little bit more tension. I'm going to pull it up back to the yellow. Now, we're going to do this 2 ways today because it's very nice to do these poses 2 different ways. So I come into position. Notice I grab the back and I just allow myself to work forward or backwards. And in this version, we hold it for maybe 20 seconds, not too long. We come into the pose, we really engage that back leg, very relaxed into the hip, and breathe. Face is soft, full, supple. I grab the back and I bend down, pulling myself up. Now I'm going to do the same side. Take my leg out, go back in, and this time, the second variation, the hip band comes to the crease. It's all the way around your body, like this. So no longer is it in the back leg. And I take my arm, I create a little bit of resistance by pressing down. Left arm comes out nice and easy. And here I feel it pulling really assertively in such a nice, delicious way into that left hip. And I breathe. I feel fully supported into the pose. Inhaling. Ready to come on out, grab it, and pull yourself up and out. And we'll do the other side. I come into position. Hold the band in the back, create just the right amount of resistance, reposition that back foot, take my left hand, press down into the PNF loop and breathe. Sometimes I come high up on my heel, off my heel, breathe into the pose, up. Or you can stay into it statically. There's all these wonderful variations. If you'd like, you can come on into a nice reverse warrior. Beautiful expression of the pose. A very nice heart opener. You can do this on both sides. Breathe into it. My elbow can press in, creating a little bit more resistance from the back. Opening up the heart. Breathing in. And slowly, head comes up, hand comes down. Nice and easy. Grab from behind. Prepare your back leg and pull yourself up. Nice and easy. And so next, we're going to come into a nice lunge pose. My hands are in my hips. I close my eyes. And because there's all these new motor neurons, different parts of the muscles activated, it's very important to just Come in, feel what you feel. Open up yourself to the harmony created, and slowly release. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to back up, and I think that I'll work my left leg forward. My left leg is a little weaker. I like to work the weak side first. So I've got it on my yellow line of the toe bend, and I walk forward. Now, when I walk forward, I take my hands from behind, and you'll do the same, and I reposition. You'll see. You become very, very coordinated in your efforts, and you'll walk that left foot forward. You'll take that right foot back, up on the toes, hands to the hips. Stabilize yourself. Beautiful. And from here, arms come out. Open up the heart. Open up the clavicles. Breathe in, inhaling, coming up, shoulder blades down, soften. And breathe. You'll notice, because you're under resistance, your body may want to fall to the right or to the left. That's great. That's great. You're working whole new neural patterns, creating a nice neural repatternization. Breathe into it. Armpits turning out to the side. Where's there too much effort? Soften. Where are you not working enough? Tighten up. Breathe into the pose. And exhaling. You can bring your hands slightly down. And this is a fun little trick. You take your hands behind you, and a couple of times I bounce back and forth. My back leg lifts up. I come up onto the toes, back onto my knees, and then here, same thing. Up and down, nice and easy. My arms come up, and it's a nice floating low lunge. Breathe into the pose. Stay here as long as you want. Exhaling, taking your hands back and down, coming back up on top of the toes, and then hands to the knees. Come on up nice and easy. Grab your bend from behind and slowly come on out. Beautiful sensations. I feel different sensations that I normally just don't feel in a traditional class. So I walk on back, take my right leg out, and then you'll put your left leg in. Walk back forward again. And what's really nice about the band is, you'll learn that sometimes, you may want to tighten it up a little bit so you have more of a vertical lift in that back leg. And then the same thing with the thighs. You'll learn just the right place. Usually when we do these poses, we want the hip extender of the Mighty Body Band to be right around the center of your thigh. And I take my hands forward onto my right leg, and here I come back. If I need to readjust, it comes a little bit higher up, and then I drop down. So the band is pulling at that left thigh. My right hip works back. You should work yourself, nestle yourself into the pose, just like I am right here, as best you can. And remember, it's all a process. Have fun. Breathe into it. Shoulder blades spin down. Heart is open. Armpits turn slightly out to the side. Fingertips stretching from the elbows. That back left heel works slightly out to the left. Don't let it dip into the right. Open up the heart. Breathe into it, nice and easy. You could even allow your head to look slightly up. More challenging. Inhaling and slowly exhaling, coming down. Hands in back of you, lean slightly forward, backwards a couple of times, and leg comes up. I'm now up on top of my toes. Hands come to the knee, and again, breathing. It requires a lot of strength and flexibility to work up to this. So take your time, work safely, open up. Hands can come together if you're really open, nice and easy. Head comes back, look on up, breathe life into the pose. Every pose is a living expression, reflected from deep within. Take the hands back, back up on the toes, back in front, and then 1, 2, 3, come on up. Grab your band from behind and pull yourself back. Very nice. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to come into child's pose. And the child's pose we did before, the static loop was in place. Well, because it's already dynamic, as we were just working it, I'm going to come back in, take it up over, lower the top of the loop of the Mighty Body Band, just beneath the crease of the hips. I come down nice and easy, and you'll notice the difference. Here I get quite a bit of a stretch. It's like one big rubber band pulling me down. And this thing is a little bit tricky, but it's a lot of fun. We take our hands behind us, one hand, knee comes forward, and we walk our knees as far forward, and then the hips drop down. Lift up, and then exhaling, folding. And again, rather than just a static band, now it's dynamic. It's that rubber band of pulling my hips back, and you'll breathe into the pose. So come on down, try it yourself. Feel where you're at and breathe.